The scholars, in looking at this verse, when they saw the reference to the dog as a guard dog there, they used that as the basis of justifying the use of guard dogs. Now, there are hadiths which, where the Prophet ﷺ had said, for example, hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari, where he said, whoever keeps a dog for other than farming, sheep herding, or hunting will have 2 qirats decreased from his good deeds daily. Yeah. Whoever keeps a dog for other than farming, sheep herding, or hunting will have 2 qirats decreased from his good deeds daily. So on the basis of that, Muslims, didn't keep dogs as pets. It's in Sahih Bukhari, yes. So it's also found in Sahih Muslim. But as they point out here, if it is permissible to keep a dog, for farming, right? To keep a dog to protect animals, cultivation, and for hunting, which are secondary human needs, then logically to keep a dog to protect human beings is even more acceptable in that sense. Also, keeping a seeing eye dog, for example, where a blind person benefits from the dog. Keeping a dog to sniff out and expose drugs, or to find explosives, etc. These are all legitimate uses for a dog, where Allah has given the dog, a certain sense of hearing, a certain sense of smell, which is beyond the abilities of human beings. So using them, they also use them to sniff out human beings in when they have earthquakes and all that. They're able to smell bodies that are trapped in buildings. So using them for these purposes are legitimate, though they're not specifically mentioned by the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, right? But one thing to keep in mind in any case is that Muslims in general have gone overboard in their position on dogs, right? In that, what Prophet Muhammad ﷺ had said, if the dog eats or drinks from your plate, pour it out, let him finish eating it, and then wash the plate or vessel 7 times using clean earth one of the times. Now that's for a vessel from which you eat. If a dog licks you, do you have to go wash your hand 7 times, one time with dirt? No. No, it's not required. If a dog touches you, is your wudu broken? No. A lot of Muslims, they're thinking this is, so non-Muslims really have a good time with Muslims, right? They say, you want to see Muslims run? They bring their dog out. Muslims are running in all directions, right? So we've gone overboard with the dog. What Islam specifically instructed, because this has to do with the food you eat. Of course, for the Westerners, they kiss their dogs and all kinds of things. Okay, that's their business. Okay, we're not going to be kissing any dogs. But the point is that other than that, where it has to do with the possibility of transference of something, because why this has been prohibited for us? Because there's some danger there. There's some danger. So this is why it's been prohibited. But beyond that, we don't need to spread it out to people say, well, okay, if the dog's saliva is this, well then the saliva is a product of his body, and so is the hair, and so is his smell, and So no, we've gone to extremes. We've gone to extremes. It's okay if your non-Muslim friend has a dog for you to pat the dog. It's okay. Doesn't break your wudu. It's all right. People have just gone to extremes. They haven't found out specifically the harm that comes from the saliva of the dog. They haven't found it. Why? Because they're not researching it. Because the dog, as they say, is man's best friend. When man was a caveman, there was a dog in there with him. Right? He's man's best friend, the first animal that befriended him. That means this is their way of thinking. So they will put clothing on a dog, give him, winter clothes and stuff like this. They sleep with their dogs. How many pictures you see them kissing the dog, mouth on mouth? This is their culture. So the idea that there's actually danger in the saliva of dogs, we're the ones, we Muslims, should have done the research and brought this thing out. But they determine where do you go and do research, what direction you go in. We're just caught up in their systems. But really, if we were on the ball, we would do that research and bring out the secret. Because for sure, there is something. The Prophet ﷺ didn't say that about cats. He didn't say it about cats. Cats are okay. Not that you should go kiss cats either. But I'm saying they're okay. Right? In general, they're okay. They're allowed. If they lick out of your thing, it doesn't say you have to wash it and all these kind of things. It's just the dog. So for sure, there's something. And for us, we believe there's something. Whether we are able to determine, we don't have to wait for 50 years from now when finally research comes out and says, oh, in the dog. We can say, oh, from 1,500 years ago, we knew it. Right? We don't have to wait for that. There's so many other evidences. All the other things are there. So we don't have to wait for each and every one. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك